Fantastic. Okay, here we go again. We are at NetApp Insight 2016 in Berlin for Tech Unplugged Live. And now I am with Andy Roberts, Office of the CTO, Principal Architect. Hi, Andy.
Hey, Enrico. Great to see you here. Great to see you here as well. You know, but different. I came to Tech Unplugged a while back. It's got good to be sat here talking on a stall to you as well with the same sort of theme. So
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah. It's we are trying to build something around this Tech Unplugged thing. So a lot of talks, discussions, and so you are in a very tough position now because we covered everything about Solidfire in this couple of days.
Yep.
So you have to talk to me about something different. I know you have an idea. So
yeah. So I think for me, it's interesting for you coming back and looking at NetApp differently. You've written a number of blogs about that. So I was a NetApp guy, right, for 9.5 years, out there selling the standard NetApp storage portfolio and doing those kind of things. So my mind was on tap. And
Don't tell me that.
Yeah, it's kind of that's what you thought about. You viewed the world through that on-tap lens. And many of my customers had the same kind of challenges, like it was Oracle, it was Microsoft, you saw every day and those kind of things. And when I left NetApp to go to Solidfire, my boss, who was at NetApp, took me over and we came over and we started the company up. I saw the unique things it could address. I'd done a lot with service providers, guys like British Telecom and things like that. But there was clearly something else was going on in the industry. You could see a change in the way things were going. And I think for me, there's two sort of books that sort of identify the trends really well. And I think they're bigger trends that are kind of worth talking about and things like that. And I've heard of it. I guess the Phoenix Project, right? It's probably it's on a lot of people's reading list if they haven't already got there. What I kind of like about the book is, firstly, it's an interesting IT book to actually read. It's got a story to it, right? How many books about IT do you ever read? Usually it's like, I remember on my shelf at home I used to have Novell Admin 3.0.
Same for me, actually.
Novell Admin 3.2. There was a great book I used to read a lot when I was a kid, a book called The Cuckoo's Egg by Cliff Stoll, which had a story about it within it. But it really, with the Phoenix Project, it takes it through an example of what's happening within a company today. They're trying to develop this massive application called the Phoenix Project to save the company. And they're struggling. Every step they go, every place they go, the kind of everything starts to fall apart. But I think the really fundamental piece of it is, it's really about what they did was aligned the whole of the business, whole of the line of the IT department to focus on the challenges of the business. And I think that's much more where Solidfire sits at the kind of the crux of those kind of trends as well. You've probably had guys come on and talk about DevOps, right, and Kubernetes, and the technologies that underlie that as well. But it's really about that focusing in on that. For example, if you go out and you're a retailer and you're selling, say, car parts or something like that, or selling books. Books may be a bad example with Amazon, but you're a normal bookshop that's out there kind of doing those kind of things. You're not going to want to build up expertise and skills within your IT department around that. It's not adding anything to your fundamental benefit. You need the technology to enable and run your business. But so really, and I think where Solidfire comes in as well, is we align to that shift towards focusing in on your business, a much more zero-touch way of operating storage, not building up those kind of skills. And it aligns, I think, it's the value, I think, of what DevOps is about and what OpenStack and those kind of things are trying to get to. It's trying to make your business just much more agile and trying to do those kind of things.
So you're talking about the fact that you are trying or you are succeeding in making the infrastructure more transparent, right?
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
The business. And you are helping with this transformation, of the infrastructure in general, but the whole stack is changing now.
Yep.
So we have DevOps you mentioned, and many other technologies related to that kind of approach. And the fact that you have everything, it's much simpler to adopt, simpler to deploy, to develop, and that's the idea. Yes, in fact, this is more or less what your colleagues said in a much more technical way.
Exactly. And those are the technologies you talked about, the technologies that underpin that shift. There's nothing, for example, that makes Solidfire the best platform for DevOps or those kind of things. I think it is, but I'm biased, right? but it's the alignment to that fundamental shift and how that stuff kind of works. So, for example, I have a customer who's a large, I can't use their actual name, but they're a large DIY provider in the UK. They provide home DIY stores. And they have all modes of IT, right? They have AS400 type stuff, traditional sort of mid-range stuff. They have VMware. But they were finding that it was taking them 6 to 8 weeks to bring up a new application environment. And they had to have lots of skills around that. by implementing OpenStack as they did within their environment, they brought their cycle times down to 3 or 4 minutes to get a new application, get a dev environment up. It is just enabling their business to do new online apps and those kind of things. They still got all of their traditional business and traditional skills, but it's allowed them to align to that. I think that there's another book out there that was really interesting as well. It was one I didn't read it until after it was written in 2011. It's a book called Consumption Economics. And I think as well, so again, if you look at the general trend of things like that Amazon are doing, the service provider movements. I was just speaking with Colleague, was one of my service providers today, about how they built their business using Solidfire. But I think there's starting to be a fundamental shift. People realize they can pay per drip for what they do. They can pay piece by piece. It's a shift from that overall having with IT to go and buy something for 3 years and go and refresh it, right? You must have seen this. I know you consult for a lot of customers and things like that. People kind of get bored of it, don't they? They get sick of changing their technology every 3 years underneath that.
Yeah. It's seen as also this Uber, and so you are starting to the sharing economy, right?
Yeah.
So you want just to pay per use everything, and you want to get also your on-premises infrastructure on a pay-per-use model if it's possible. But again, yes, your colleague with the capacity licensing, with all other this, not just the technology, but the mindset of the end user to build its infrastructure that way.
Absolutely. And I think, like you say, it's very much mindset. It's coming down from what's going on in the cloud world, coming down into those infrastructure layers, and people don't want to kind of go and put it all in day one and provision it out. And I guess for Solidfire again, we're at the hit of that as well. But it's influenced by much bigger things. What's going on with Amazon, what's going on in the service provider markets, coming down into that. And so I think they're two really, really interesting books to go and read. They're two really interesting trends, I think, that are influencing how IT infrastructure is built and deployed. And certainly when I left NetApp to go to Solidfire, we've seen a lot of that out there today.
So you also mentioned a blog that you wrote a few weeks ago.
So very much.
Where you can find it?
Yeah, so that's on the Solidfire website. So we're relaunching the Solidfire website, Solidfire 3.0. So go to solidfire.com/blogs. All of our new blogs are up there as well. Some great stuff by Gabe and Jeremiah and some of my colleagues that were going up there as well with the launch of that new site that's going out there.
And what is your Twitter handle? So if someone wants to
if you want to follow me on Twitter, arob_UK, you can follow and track my exploits that are out there as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Andy, for your time.
Cheers, Enrico. Thank you.
Thank you.